Sucka Fu Fani Willis has another massive loss in court. This involves a different case, but it still reveals her absolute lack of professionalism and integrity with the Young Thug rap, which is one of the rappers that is one of the guys that she went after RICO charges on before Trump. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. We'll get to the article over on Breitbart News. You know, Andrew Breitbart gave me my start in journalism back when I worked with him, so I always support Breitbart News. Great source. Usually pretty good truth-telling over there. Welcome. Give us a like and a subscribe. That always helps keep this place moving. Let's get to the article. This is over on the Breitbart. Okay, this is Judge rebukes Fani Willis, declines to send Young Thug to prison over social media post. Nice try, Fani. So she tried throwing this guy in prison. I mean, he may need to go to prison for other reasons, but there's Young Thug. We support your fight. We hope you get justice and only justice, my friend. Maybe a little mercy too. We are in Atlanta. A judge in Atlanta has declined prosecutors' request to revoke Young Thug's probation and send him to prison. What kind of talk about black on black crime. Who would do this to Young Thug? He's young. He might be a thug, but he's just young. But the judge cautioned him over his social media use. Now, this is a free speech issue, in my view. Give people a long leash on free speech. Social media use after his viral post sparked an online backlash against the district attorney's office. So fine, people threaten each other. That happens. But his speech didn't cause the threats. That is, individuals making threats need to be prosecuted on their own. The Grammy Award-winning rapper pleaded guilty in October to gang, drug, gun charges and was released from jail, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis said in a court filing Wednesday that, quote, he engaged in a conduct that directly threatens the face of witnesses and prosecutors, compromises ongoing legal proceedings, and wants immediate revocation of probation. She tried throwing him back in that rat hole clink, just like she did Trump. This is why the black vote, by the way, went over to Trump and said, Fani Willis, just another Democrat trying to throw us in prison. Here's a t-shirt. I'm going to hell. Do you need anything? Now, that's not nice. I'm not going to hell. Those are blasphemous t-shirts, Breitbart. How dare you? Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker said in an order on Thursday that she had reviewed Willis's filing in a response by Young Thug's attorney and decided to revoke his probation. While the court does not find that the cited social media post raises to the level of violation of defendant's probation, it may be prudent for defendant to exercise a little restraint. She's going, I'm not going to read his tweets because who knows what he said. It might peel paint off the wall. I'm not defending what he said, but the court's just going, hey, exercise a little restraint regarding certain topics, Whitaker added in a footnote to her one-paragraph order. By the way, I don't think you can curtail free speech. I think you can warn them, but not as a judge in an official capacity. Say, hey, exercise restraint. You should be able to say, how about I don't exercise restraint? I don't want to be rude for the sake of rude, but I'm only saying your free speech rights need to be almost close to absolute, unless you're making an active threat to a person, like I'm going to get you. Willis said Young Thug reposted a social media post that included a photo of an investigator in the district attorney's office with a caption that said, the investigator is, quote, the biggest liar in the DA. I absolutely defend free speech on Young Thug saying that. They're the biggest liar in the DA's office. I hope it's obvious it's just his opinion. The post, quote, quickly went viral, amassing over 2 million views with thousands of comments and retweets. This is not a breach of our First Amendment, you morons in that courtroom. Fulton County. Welcome to America, you commie. We have free speech. I don't care how popular it was. This is what they're responding to with thousands of comments and retweets. And the judge says, it might be prudent to exercise restraint regarding certain topics. How about no? How about no? How about you restrain from trying to stop my free speech? How about you show some restraint? The investigator's home address and that of her parents were posted publicly. Now, whoever did that, again, if that's a threat or that's called doxing, that should be prosecuted, I guess, if there's some kind of a threat involved. And some posts included threats to the investigator and her family, but not by Young Thug, to my knowledge. Again, you can't influence what other people do, and other people do a lot of evil things. Some of the threats were to the investigator and her family, which again, we don't approve of threats at all. I don't even like people making threats like funny threats to Biden in my chat. I don't like seeing that. I don't like threats. Investigator and her family, the filing says, one post threatened the assassination of Willis. Now that, if you threaten to assassinate her, that person who made that tweet, which was not Young Thug, and it's not Young Thug's fault, he did not incite this threat. No, you can't pin that on him, friends. That goes to the individual. Go prosecute that individual, absolutely. If they're making threats to a public official, even to Fani Willis, that's against the law. I don't make threats to people. I'm a good person. I agree. Look at Young Thug posted Wednesday night on the social platform X. Good man. See that? He's even condemning it, guys. Fani Willis and this judge, you need to shut your pie. This man's a good American. Quote, I would never condone anyone threatening anyone or definitely participate in threatening anyone. I'm all about peace and love. I'm with you, Young Thug. I get what you're saying. This is a correct response. I think he should be pushing back on the courts big time. No one should be pressuring this man. You know what I mean? That's how they do it. Brian Steele, the attorney for Young Thug, said in court filing Thursday that prosecutors' allegations were misleading, true, and that the rapper hadn't done anything to violate his probation, absolutely true. Young Thug, whose given name is Jeffrey Williams, was indicted along with more than 24 other people in May of 2022, accused of violating Georgia's anti-racketeering law. The indictment said the rapper co-founded a violent street gang, yeah, Young Thug, maybe don't do that next time, that committed multiple murders, okay, bad, shootings, bad, carjackings over roughly a decade and promoted its activities in songs and social media. Yeah, bad news, Young Thug. But they gave him probation. Whitaker gave him a total sentence of 40 years. The first 5 years were to be served in prison, but that was commuted to time served. Then he has 15 years on probation, fine. Finally, a backloaded 20 years in prison will be commuted to time served if he complies with all the conditions of his probation. Dude, our legal system is just stupid. What a joke. If the judge had granted the probation revocation, that 20-year prison sentence would have taken effect. You know what happens if you or I got a 20-year prison sentence? You and I would spend every day in jail. None of this frabba-jabba offered to these other people. Okay. So anyways, the big thing is Young Thug not guilty of violating his probation. And man, did they just let him off the hook on this one. 40 years, guilty for 40 years in prison, and he serves no time. Again, that's our legal system, guys. That's why your rule of law and your justice system is pretty funny. We just laugh at it. And then he does a social media post, and that's when they jump him. That is revolting. Go back and look at my previous video on Rand Paul and on the weaker brother in Corinthians. You know, what they choose to prosecute is so evil. They choose to prosecute his actual legal right to free speech, and they don't prosecute this other stuff where it's gang shootings and all that and his racketeering charge. You know, it's all a joke. That's what makes me angry, is I actually believe in a rule of law. They don't believe in a rule of law, certainly not the ones going after his free speech. Let the man speak. I'm Doug in exile.